Thank you very much. Hello, hello. Thank you very much. Can I please ask you to sit down? We'll start our event in a few seconds. Thank you very much. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Okay, Björn. Go. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, dear ministers, delegates, directors, dear media representatives, dear colleagues and friends, comrades. Welcome to the European Astronaut Center, the home of Europe's astronauts, especially today. My name is Jules Grandsire, and this is the place where every astronaut who's assigned to fly on board the International Space Stations comes to get trained on the European systems of the orbital outpost. And today is a historic day for this place, for its staff, and particularly for a group of individuals who were selected a year and a half ago among over 22,000 candidates to join the European Astronaut Corps. And they come today before you to receive their astronaut wings. So, again, during this event, we'll see a bit more about what they've been through this past 12 months, and we'll hear why it's important for ESA and for the future of Europe in space. We'll then have a Q&A. We have media representatives online, and we have you here in the room, so we'll spend a bit of time in this Q&A. And after that, you'll have the opportunity to have your one-on-ones with our astronauts and experts. But before we go on with this, I would like to call on stage the head of the European Astronaut Center, Frank de Winne, the Director for Human and Robotic Exploration, Daniel Neuenschwander, and ESA's Director General, Josef Aschbacher.
So thank you, Gilles, and very warm welcome also from my side. This is really a big day. It's a very big day for all of us. So dear astronauts, dear minister, dear state secretary, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear family members of the astronauts, it's really a very special moment to witness this occasion today. So it is, of course, a great pleasure to have this celebration today, which is a very historic moment for you astronauts, but also, of course, for us in ESA. What a fantastic day, and what a memorable day this will be. So we are here to celebrate the graduation of the astronauts after 1 year of very hard training, very hard work. As Gilles was already mentioning, we had about 2.5 years ago, the call for a new class of astronauts, 22,500 applications. After about 1.5 years of selection process, it was coming down to the moment of selecting astronauts out of the 22,500, and we selected, as you know, at the ministerial conference in 2022, in November 2022, 17 astronauts, career astronauts and astronauts of the Reserve Corps. And the career astronauts, the 5 being graduated today, are being the ones that really were going through the base training. So it was a challenging year. I've heard many accounts from my colleagues, from some of you yourself, of what you have gone through. It is a lot of training you had to do, you had to endure. Most of it has been done here at the Astronaut Center. But also, you have been going to other places, to Houston, to the field, in order to do training there. And I have to say, I think what you have done, what you have learned is quite remarkable. The training is, as you know, a mix of theoretical training. So you learn about space, you learn about ESA, you learn about the international space community, about astrophysics, about different aspects that have to do with satellites, rockets, spacecraft, space stations, in order to be very familiar with the theory of what is necessary, and you have done a lot of practical training of various aspects that you need to know, including, by the way, the pool, as we call it, where you are training for EVAs, which is certainly one of the highlights. But you also had to learn Russian. You have been going off-site here in Germany to learn Russian, which of course is also an important aspect. And you have met other candidates. First, of course, our ESA astronauts of the ESA Astronaut Corps of the 2009 class, but also other colleagues from NASA, from JAXA, either in training or already flown. And I think also this is extremely important for you to bond, to create networks, and to make friends there, which is part of really preparing yourself very well for the future work you have to do. Let me thank also to all the colleagues who have been involved in training you here at the Astronaut Center, but also in the field, which have been helping you to get to this stage. I heard yesterday evening that there have been more than 300 people involved in training you, which is a huge number. And this is something we don't realize all the time, that if one astronaut flies to space, of course it's not only one astronaut, there's a huge team behind of ESA, of our member states, experts in the various countries, and this is a huge effort. And I really would like to take the occasion to thank all our partners, of course the team here in-house of the Astronaut Center, for the excellent work you have done in training our astronauts. Let me say one word on space exploration. Space exploration, and this is of course at the core of our astronauts, is a top priority of ESA. I'm sure you all know Agenda 2025. I have been very clear that Europe needs to step up in order to be competitive, not lose the train, and be competitive on the world scale, because so much is happening worldwide. I just come back from a very important symposium in the United States, the Colorado Springs Space Symposium, 12,000 people, and it is remarkable what you see there. How much energy, how much effort is put in, also from a commercial side, into exploration or into space altogether. And this is fascinating. It's really fascinating. But Europe has to be part of it. Europe has to lead in some of these aspects, and this is at the core of what I've written in Agenda 2025, that Europe is making use of its excellence, because we are excellent, a bit smaller in terms of funding, but we are excellent, and this excellence we cannot lose. We have to sustain it, and that means that we have to invest in space, in exploration, but in space in general. And this is at the core also of the astronaut training, because you are the ambassadors and you are the visible heads of us, of ESA, of space in Europe and in Australia, and this is something extremely important that we are doing together, and you are helping us in implementing the Agenda 2025. As you know, at the last ministerial conference in 2022, exploration got an increase of 36%. And this is a big jump compared to the value before, but of course this path has to be continued, and we are doing this now through a proper strategy which we are defining together for exploration and for ESA, a strategy 2040, where exploration and of course the flights of astronauts to the space station and to the moon are key elements of our future strategy. And this is also important for us here at the Astronaut Center to build up this capacity in order to train astronauts, but also to make sure that we are one partner, a recognized partner in the international context of NASA and other international partners. With the graduation in a few minutes of 5 ESA astronauts and 1 Australian astronaut, the ESA Astronaut Corps will increase to a number of 11 ESA astronauts. 6 from the 2009 class and 5 new ones, and this is a very strong astronaut corps. I'm very happy, very proud to have such a strong group, and really look forward to the work that you will be doing. These 11 astronauts are coming from 8 member states of ESA, which also shows the diversity which we have. Of course, and this is very important, everyone is asking after the graduation what happens next. And this is something that I can assure you that we have already negotiated flights to the space station for the ESA astronauts by 2030 the 5 of you who are graduating today will have flight opportunities according to the plans we have negotiated with NASA and the other International Space Station partners. And this is a very big achievement, and this is something that is very important. Of course, as you know, once a flight would be assigned, another training is required in order to really get ready for that flight. So the very first flight will not happen before early 2026, but we are on the path of doing that. Let me also say a word to our partners from Australia. We have one candidate which is graduating today, Katherine Bennell-Pegg, who was selected in the Astronaut Corps of the ESA group in 2022, but has an Australian citizenship. And we have a very good cooperation with Australia since many years. And Enrico Palermo has asked me whether it is possible to undergo an agreement between Australia and ESA that Katherine could be trained as an Australian astronaut together with our 5 colleagues from ESA. And I'm very happy to say that this also underlines the strong cooperation we have with Australia, but also other international partners. And Katherine will graduate today with the other 5 ESA astronauts. It's a great pleasure having you here, but also having you among the other ESA astronauts to be trained. And Katherine is the first non-ESA astronaut to be trained here at ESC, which I think is also a highlight, a first and a very important moment. So, dear astronauts, congratulations. Today is your day, and this is a very big moment, and I would like to really say that we are so proud. I'm very proud. ESA is very proud of you, and I'm sure you, your parents, your family is very proud of what you have achieved today to get your wings in order to become an astronaut for the next step, which is, of course, assignments to a flight. So thank you from my side. Thank you very much for doing this very hard work. I look forward to the ceremony, and I'd like to hand over to Daniel Neuenschwander, Director of Human and Robotic Exploration.
Thank you, Josef. A very warm welcome to Cologne, the main site of our Exploration Directorate, and of course, the home of our astronauts. It's music in my ears when I hear our Director General speaking about that exploration is a top priority, of course. And yes, Mr. Director General, we have a strategy for Explore 2040, 3 destinations, 1 strategy applied to low Earth orbit, Moon, Mars at the horizon 2040. At each destination, ESA strives at a strategic role in terms of non-dependence, uniqueness, and co-shaping. Non-dependence from launch to landing, from science to technology. Uniqueness, aiming at the European-led missions as part of a bigger international cooperation to ensure resilience. And co-shaping by inviting our other partners into European activities, for example, a Mars precision landing mission. But at least what matters is that at each destination, we need trained astronauts. Missions, operations, training by and for astronauts is at the heart of any exploration program. And the last call of selection attracted, you hear it now, the figure for the 3rd time this morning, but over 22,500 applications, 1,000. And I think this is remarkable if we see these great colleagues here now in the first line. Thanks to their performance and a long year process of the 22 European astronaut selection, the following individuals were selected as astronaut candidates. They are all ESA astronauts, but they have still a color of their passport, so let me underline it. Sophie Adenot, France. Pablo Álvarez, Spain. Rosemary Coogan, UK. Raphaël Liégeois, Belgium, Marco Sieber, Switzerland. In April 23, they started their basic training here together with Katherine Bennell-Pegg from Australia. And thanks to Katherine joining the team, we reached gender equality, so thank you for that, Katherine. Basic astronaut training serves as a fundamental first step, providing candidates with a well-rounded understanding and proficiency across various disciplines, ranging from engineering, over survival training, over to astronomy. All fundamental skills they will need later on in their roles as astronauts in space. They also had the opportunity to meet and to be mentored by the class of 2009. They are represented here by 3 members. I go from right to left, seen from my window: Matthias Mauer, Thomas Pesquet, Alex Gerst. And both promotion, as of today, will be a single team, the ESA Astronaut Corps, headed by the first European commander of the International Space Station, Frank de Winne, who, by the way, has a lot of additional heads than this one. He knows about it. When selected in 2022, our 5 soon-to-be astronauts were standing on stage together with 12 other highly qualified individuals that integrated the first ever European astronaut reserve. While ESA career astronauts carry out long-term missions on board of the International Space Station, and in the future, of course, also missions to the moon, members of the astronaut reserve participate in missions to space through the opening of new flight opportunities, including commercial space flights, as demonstrated successfully and in record time, and I'm very proud of that, with Marcus Wann's participation to the Axiom 3 mission earlier this year. John McFall, also with us today, is our first para-astronaut. Another member of the reserve also is following a specific path, taking part of the ESA feasibility study FLY to develop options for the inclusion of astronauts with a physical disability in future missions. Altogether, these outstanding colleagues represent the future of Europe's ability to conduct human spaceflight activities and make out of Europe a partner of choice for an ambitious international exploration program. Thank you for that. And I have the pleasure to hand over to Frank now.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, as of course, an astronaut as well, and the head of the Astronaut Corps and the European Astronaut Center here, it's a big pleasure to see you all smiling, sitting here in the front row for this big day that is coming for you. One of the big days in your career. Yeah? A big day certainly was when you received the first letter. I remember this, that, oh, I can go to the interview, or, oh, I can go to Hamburg, or every time that you make a step, you're still in the process. And every day like that was a big day for you, I'm sure. The day that you were selected, that you were on stage in Paris, was a big day. Today is another big day. I'm very glad that Daniel, or our Director General, said that there will be more big days. The day that you will sit on top of the rocket will also be a big day, I can assure you. But that's still a little bit away, so let's concentrate on today, on everything that you had to go through to get here. We mentioned already a little bit part of the trainings. I'm sure that a lot of those trainings were fun. I'm a pilot myself. You have some pilots here in the Corps as well. If you can fly the robot arm and you can master this, it gives you satisfaction. You're very happy that you can do the task. I'm sure that you all enjoyed very much doing the dives in our neutral buoyancy facility here. There are also some less fun things, at least for me. I'm not a very sportive guy, so doing sports, which is part of your daily training as well, was not always the most exhilarating for me. Learning Russian, I'm a mathematician, I'm an engineer. Languages has never been my strong point, but having to learn Russian and having to master it to be able to fly to space is really a big step for some of you, I'm sure. And so that's also the part that you have to do. Being an astronaut and training to be an astronaut is not always fun. It's sometimes fun, but it's not always fun. And it will be the same when you fly to space. A lot of the activities that you will do will be fun. Some of them will not be so much fun. I'm not going to go into the details here, but there are also certain tasks that you have to do on the space station, which you say, again, every Saturday morning, cleaning, for example, on the space station, again, for 6 months in a row. Okay, but this is the job that awaits you. But I can assure you, from everything that I have from my career, is that the fun moments by far outweigh the non-fun moments. So you're here at this big step, more fun moments to come, more training to come, and hopefully, I'm sure that by 2030, you all will have the fun and the acceleration to sit on top of a rocket. So congratulations again to you. I would like to call you now all on stage. also the class of 2009. So please join me on stage here. And then, come on, guys. And I pass the mic to Alex. Alex has a special role. Alex has been the mentor, he has been the leader, he has been the boss of this class of 2022. He has helped them a lot through, at least when I talked to you, you all were very happy with the leadership that Alex provided to this class. So Alex, the floor is yours.
Flying to space is a serious business, and training to fly to space as well. Therefore, as an astronaut, you try to find some moments in between to meet this with a little humor, of course. And that's, by the way, how our class of 2009 got the name the Shenanigans. That's a different story today. But you can already see that the business of naming an astronaut class is a not so serious business, and it's based on some of the characteristics of the class that you meet before. So the tradition is that the old class, or the existing class, I would say, gives the name to the new class, and that's the tradition. So about a year ago, a new phenomenon has been observed at EAC. It's called hopping, I guess. Well, we had a few new colleagues hopping around between the classroom, which is on this side, to their offices, which is on that side, to spend 7 minutes there and then back, and that happened about 12 times a day. Then we had stray kangaroos with space helmets being observed hopping around in various parts of the building. And I also learned that kangaroos only hop forward. And then some of our new colleagues have been overheard mentioning that they would be interested in hopping around on the moon. It's for these reasons, and a few more that I will not share today, that the name of the astronaut class of 22 from ESA is called the Hoppers. So from now on, the core of active astronauts at ESA will consist of shenanigans and hoppers training and working hand in hand to fly to space for Europe. And the hoppers wouldn't be good astronauts, of course, if they wouldn't design a patch for everything they do. The one that they made quite fittingly in the shape of a space hopper you see here. And if you're lucky, they will explain it to you today. But now it's actually my great pleasure to place this patch onto their flight suits on the very space where soon we will see some mission patches pop up. So a great honor for me. With that, I welcome you to the European Astronaut Corps, my friends. Well done.
Okay, and so welcome again from my side as well. And I promised you earlier we'll see a little bit what you've been through this past 12 months. So look at the screen, because we have now a 2-minute condensed recap of the ESA basic training.
This is our 2022 class of ESA astronauts.
So these are fascinating moments, I think, when you see what the astronauts have done. Now comes the moment of graduation. So what we do is we call one astronaut after the other in alphabetical order, and I start with Sophie Adenot. This is a very happy moment. Congratulations, Sophie. Just for you to explain, so what happens here is Alex is putting the badge here of the ESA badge on their shoulder. Daniel has the wings in his hand. That means the name, which is now on the chest, will be replaced by the wings, which classifies them as astronauts. And of course, I hand over the certificate, which confirms the graduation, which is a very nice one. So next one is Pablo, please. And the certificate. Congratulations, Pablo. So next one is Rosemary Coogan. Congratulations, Rosemary. Next one is Raphaël Liégeois. Congratulations, Raphael. Next one is Marco Sieber. So now we have a special way of handing over the next certificate through Enrico Palermo, the head of the Australian Space Agency, who will do the honors of handing over the certificate to Katherine Bennell-Pegg. Enrico, please.
Thank you, Josef. Ministers, VIPs, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, good morning. And to the many Australians watching back home, good evening. What an absolute privilege to be here on this historic occasion to bear witness to the graduation of the new generation of space explorers. Sophie, Pablo, Rosemary, Raphaël and Marco, congratulations on your graduation and being excellent representatives for your nations, and for being a teammate, a hopper teammate with Katherine. As Josef signalled in his remarks, today is historic. Our own Katherine Bennell-Pegg becomes the first qualified career astronaut under the Australian flag. We know the astronaut club is very exclusive, and we've had representatives from down under, NASA astronauts, Dr. Andy Thomas and Dr. Paul Scully-Power. But today, Katherine does that proudly with the Australian flag on her sleeve for the first time. I congratulate Katherine on this exceptional effort to achieve this milestone and for being an exemplary ambassador for Australia on the international stage. We are naturally all very proud of Katherine at the Australian Space Agency and back in Australia. We're even prouder that her training has opened doors that will further grow our local space ecosystem and our collaboration with ESA. Katherine has said on many occasions that being an astronaut is a team sport, and she has represented Team Australia brilliantly. So Katherine will return to Australia, a qualified astronaut, brimming with knowledge, insights and connections that will help generate opportunities for our industry to contribute to the generation-defining global missions that are in the coming years. She will do this at a time that Australia's space industry is rapidly maturing, followed by the formation of our agency about 6 years ago, but importantly because of the open arms we've had from our international partners to collaborate. That's been instrumental to the growth of our sector. So I would like to thank the team at ESA for making this training happening, in particular the vision and leadership of the Director General and the entire team here at the European Astronaut Centre. Every single one of you, and there's 300 of you, have been gracious with your space expertise, sharing the rich knowledge that exudes every part of this centre with the passion and professionalism we all see. And you've been generous in your time in hosting Australian delegations to foster and unlock new collaborations with Europe. Katherine's training has strengthened the deep relationship between Europe and Australia, more than a relationship, a partnership, a friendship that has spanned decades and has been of great mutual benefit. So we look forward to Australia and Europe working together into the future, knowing the perseverance of one of our talented own has paved the way for much more collaboration. Katherine, you have shown young Aussie kids back home the power of a dream and what can come from hard work and determination and the pursuit of education and careers in STEM. And that alone makes you an excellent addition to that exclusive club. Thank you, and thank you to ESA.
And now I would like to ask Katherine Bennell-Pegg on stage. You get it. Congratulations. Okay. Congratulations, Katherine. So now I hand back to Gilles.
Alex, you sit down. Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient as well and living all these emotional moments with us. I'd now like to leave the floor to the State Secretary for Economic Recovery and Strategic Investments in charge of the science policy and in charge of space in Belgium, Thomas Dermine.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Mardir. Frank, it's a pleasure to be with you today. As you know, Belgium holds the presidency of the EU for this period. And it's a very special moment and an honor to be here. I must say I'm quite jealous also. I've been following you closely over the last year in the training process and seeing what you've been through, seeing also the pictures on the video. I must say it's a true inspiration to follow you on a nearly daily basis, and you will represent the European values and what we stand for in space, and it's amazing to be with you today. As you know, Belgium is a very small country on Earth, but we try to be big in space, or at least we try to work together with our European colleagues to be big in space and to move forward this industry. We keep strengthening our relationship with ESA, and you know, Joseph, that I cannot deny that this brings me a lot of joy and happiness in my daily work to work on this passionating topics of space. I'm very delighted the work we're doing, the Belgian presidency of the EU, together with the European Commission, with the teams of ESA, with the German presidency of ESA, to make sure that we organize an ambitious Space Council in Brussels on May 23. This Space Council will focus on strengthening Europe's competitiveness through space. We are all aware of the challenges in the European industry to keep ahead of the race versus other big powers in the world. It's for sure the case in space, and we must address those challenges. And I want to thank ESA for its unwavering commitment to addressing those challenges. Today's graduating astronauts, you are really an inspiration for the next generation, an example for a challenging but inspirational career path to be pursued. I'm also very glad to see that we have not 2 but 3 women among our graduates today. Sophie, Rosemary, and Katherine, you will undoubtedly serve as a model for girls that have interest in space, interest in adventures, interest in science. And I'm very happy to see that thanks to Australia, we have gender parity in the group. It's an amazing signal for young girls. So Sophie, Rosemary, Katherine, Marco, Pablo, and of course, our national Raphaël, congratulations for this major achievement. In French, nous vous regarderons partir vers les étoiles avec des étoiles plein les yeux. Thanks for making us all dream. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for these wonderful words to our astronauts, but also thank you for being a very strong partner at the presidency of the European Union, which Belgium at the moment is holding, and the work you are doing together with our German friends who are holding the ESA presidency at ministerial level. We are preparing the Space Council. You have just heard from Thomas Dermine, which is a very important moment. The Space Council will focus on the competitiveness of European industry, of Europe altogether, and the astronauts play a crucial role in enhancing our competitiveness of space in Europe. So thank you once more, Thomas.
Thank you again, everybody. I'll call now our astronauts now back on stage, since this is the time where the interaction will start with you in the room and with our media representatives in remote. Joseph, you stay with us, please. Daniel, you're welcome to stay as well. And in the room, we'll have my colleagues Anna and Anya with the mics, so please don't hesitate to, thank you guys. Don't hesitate to make yourself known to Anya and Anna on both sides if you want to ask some questions. There will be plenty of time for group photos afterwards, by the way, so don't, don't be nervous now. Okay, and so we have just one question in remote as well from Nick Spoll from Spaceflight magazine, and I'm reading it This is why this is a center of high technology. I'm reading it on the phone. Nixbal is asking, saying congratulations to all the new astronauts. And I hear also that Nick would like to speak. So let's see if Nick can ask his question himself. Nick, if you can hear us, go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning. Many congratulations to all the team. Fantastic work. And I think the Hoppers is a terrific name for you all. My question, in common with the previous team, did you have to go through the rigors of learning Russian? And have you had visits to the Gagarin Center in Moscow?
So Nick's question is, sorry, Nick, you came out a little bit broken, so if I can repeat, the question was about your Russian training and your Russian visits to Russia.
Yeah, so we indeed went through a very intensive Russian course, but it was here in Germany. Everything happened not very far away from here. It was an institute where we had about 8 hours of learning every day, and I could tell you that after 2 months it was just Russian just in our heads, and yes, we had a final evaluation afterwards, and done.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Do we have a question in the room? No questions in the room? Come on, Thomas. What's your question?
My question was, it's a long journey. I'm sorry.
So this is Thomas Pesquet asking a question to the new class of astronauts.
No. Oh, yeah. So this is a very long journey. So of course you've learned stuff, in a classroom, but any valuable lesson that you might have learned, just outside of the classroom, in the break room, like bonding, becoming a team. How did that work out for you guys, and do you feel that it's important going forward?
Well, I would say there's definitely a lot of lessons learned of the past years. Talking about teamwork, that was definitely one of the highlights. We've seen in the images there that we arrived kind of as a group of 6 people 1 year ago, and we are getting out of this process as a team. And that's really a strong feeling that built up over the year. It's not just having us in a room and shaking for 1 year and then that happens. No, that was a long process, and thanks to the training teams here, we were really allowed to go through these experiences. I think about the winter survival, for example, where we felt these strong bonds building up. Last week, the parabolic flight with you at the command, that was also a strong moment. So yeah, I really have that impression, and I'm sure it will keep on for the coming years.
Thank you, Raphael. So do we have a question here in the room? Well, everybody's eagerly waiting for their one-on-ones. Of course, you can ask questions in your native language, if this is what is stopping you, but no. Yes, there's one question here, Anya.
To know if becoming an astronaut is a long cherished dream, or does it occur in the middle of your first chosen career? I don't know. Can you please, all of you, briefly explain?
Well, in my case, it was a long-time dream. I cannot remember when it started. I guess somewhere when Frank flew, or even before, when our first Belgian astronaut flew. Sorry for reminding the old generation and the older generation. So it has always been a dream. I never thought it would come true, but yeah, I always had that somewhere in my mind. Second youngest and third youngest. Yes, I will.
The same for me. It's completely been a long-standing dream, and it's really interesting because we are often asked, I think all of us have been asked, when was the moment you decided you wanted to become an astronaut? When was the moment you decided you wanted to do it? And I can't speak for everyone, but I think for myself and for a lot of us, it really has been something that has always been in our heads. Perhaps if we didn't always know exactly where it was going to lead, exactly how it was going to come to this day, I personally have always been fascinated in space, and now to find out that as an astronaut you can go there and you can do this fantastic science and bring that back, it's everything come together as a dream, as Raphael says.
So in my case, I do remember when I wanted to become an astronaut, and I was looking at the moon. I was probably 4 or 5 years old in my little village in the mountains in Spain, and then someone told me that there have been people who walked in the moon. And I was disappointed to hear that only 12 people had walked in the moon. I thought it had to be something more common, and that was the moment I really wanted to become an astronaut, to be part of that. Then I did a mistake. I stopped believing it was possible, so it was not part of my dreams when I grew up, because I thought that, yeah, it cannot happen to me. And it was not until ESA selection, when I saw the post and online, and I decided to apply, that that dream really started coming into my head again, and I thought it was a train I had to take and try really hard to get it. And we are now today a step closer.
For me, being an astronaut has definitely been a lifelong dream, but I never believed I'd have the chance to do that as an Australian. When I grew up, there wasn't a space agency, let alone an astronaut program for Australia. And when I wanted to be an astronaut, it was first for that adventure, that curiosity so many kids have, and then it was for the discoveries that can be unlocked by space. And so I'm so grateful to the Australian Space Agency and others back home, and to ESA and my colleagues for making this possible. And I'm really determined to make the most of this for everyone back home, to accelerate the opportunities for more Australians to be involved in human space flight one way or another in the future.
Thanks. Yeah, for me it's a bit the same as for Pablo. It was always a dream as a kid, but you know, a not really realistic dream. So then just like 8 years ago, I learned that there was actually a really, really small chance to be an astronaut as a European. And yeah, from that time on I was totally motivated and was waiting for a selection to arise, and I didn't think I had a chance, but in the end it worked out, and yeah, thank you very much.
Sophie?
Yes, so for me as well, it was a lifelong dream, and it started when I was a little girl. And but the one thing I wanted to tell to anyone who hear around that they shouldn't believe in their dream because they are too crazy or too difficult to achieve, I couldn't count the number of times when my friends, my teachers, or whoever I met told me, just stay on ground on Earth, you'll never achieve this, your dream will never come true, just be realistic, it will never happen. And so, well, I wanted to send to the people who hear this a message of hope, because when you take action and when you're not listening to people, not believing in yourself, then great things can happen.
Yes. So the next question from the room. 2 o'clock. Yes. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Will you be also candidates for Artemis missions?
So now we are focused on preparing for a mission to the ISS, which is already quite challenging, and I think Artemis missions is something for the old class, the existing class. Of course, we will be astronauts for several years. I plan on sticking around for very long, so we'll see what the future brings us, but we are now focused on the ISS.
Thank you. The next question? If not, last chance. Well, if there's no more question, then I thank you everybody. I thank everybody who followed us on ESA Web TV as well, and see you soon on the European Space Agency's channels. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We're checking out.